Polo, number 10. I like this one. This to me is like that moment in book 1 where you hit minuet 1 and you have like a real piece of music with a history behind it and a bit of a story, and you get to go somewhere and do something. This is like that. I feel like it's taking all the challenges that we've had previously and rolling them into one and going, hey, okay, so did you actually get all of this stuff? It's ostensibly in D major. I say that just because there's a few shifts of key throughout, so you want to stay aware to the accidentals happening in here. There may be a B minor moment or two that we won't talk about because scary, minor. It's in common time. It's a martial tempo, so it's got that structured feeling, right? Quite square. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that when we hit the dolce at the 5th line, we should introduce a little bit of lyricism. We still have the feeling of a march, but it's just a slight change of personality. Okay? Let's tackle the first phrase. You should all know what the first phrase is, I hope. Starting with an upbeat, so don't accent it too heavily. Dun, da, da, dun, dun, dum, bum, bum. And, we have a combination. This is kind of interesting. Combination of single notes plus chords. Haven't done much of that before, have we, in polo? It's mostly been all double stops or nothing. So just have the idea of now I'm playing on just my G. I need to cross and add the D string as well. Okay, lots and lots of string crossings in here. So if you feel like the level crossings could be a challenge for your bow, label them, get your highlighters out, do a bit of color coding. You do need to think though, level 1, 2, 4, 6, not just 2, 4, 6. Okay. Starting forte, we won't worry too much about dynamics on a first playthrough. You might like to just pick the top or the bottom to play along with me. 1, 2, 3. There's our first phrase. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Set the bow in G. Here we go. Watch out for the C sharp. That third finger on the G string often doesn't sound correctly. It's just here. End of the third bar in the second line. Let's play from the beginning up to the end of the second phrase. 1 and 2. All good? Just check here. The third finger stays ringing. Sometimes it moves a little bit with that first finger coming up. Let's continue on, starting on the D, 1, 2. That phrase again, and. One more time, and. Get ready there on the open A and D. Let's play those 6 notes again. Ready, and. One more time, and. Now, slowly the next part, because it gets a little tangly in here. F sharp and D. Pull the second finger back and pull the fourth finger over to get it to ring. F sharp. Take it across. And now we stretch the third finger up to a D sharp. One and two, so we tone across the strings. Oh, weird one. Pull the second finger right back to an A sharp. Okay, let's look at the third line. We've got all good. Next bar. Let's play that little chunk again. It's only 7 notes. I think the secret is keeping the second finger very close because it's just hopping across the string all the time. Again, those 7 notes. Okay, get the third finger on D. Cool, let's do that again. From the B and G, the upbeat, 2 bars ago. Same again. Good, one more time. Super. Now from here, move the third finger up a semitone to D sharp. 4. Ready, and. Cool. Let's do that again with the nasty D sharp start. 3, 4. Make sure they're a semitone apart. Again, I love the feeling of all these fingers touching, right? The semitones make life really easy. Again. Next phrase. Hop. Ooh, take the second finger across to the G string. Okay, let's play that little chunk from the ready, and. Oh, I missed my G, I'm so sorry. Start the phrase again for me. Next phrase. So I'd recommend taking a highlighter and just divvying it up into its phrases so that if you've got one particular one stumping you, you can concentrate energy on it. Oh yeah, the 4th phrase, that's the crappy one. The 8th phrase, that's the crappy one. Rather than practicing that whole chunk 4 lines long 20 times. Don't do that, it's a waste of time. Practice the little bit 20 times. Let's play from the start to the end of that phrase at the 4th line. 1, 2, 3. here and just focus your energies on that first half for a few days, great plan. If you want to continue on, get your trilling fingers ready. This directly relates back to number 9. So if your number 9 is still a work in progress, don't play this half yet. I'm going to take the bowing out of it and play it separately so you can hear very clearly what's happening. We've got C and A to start. A fifth. G sharp, be careful. All right, scary fingers in there. At the last bar of that line, fifth, slide back. Again. Now try the preceding bar as well. Slide back. Leave the one on. Stretch. You could also play that last bar in half position and play a 3, 4, 3, 1, 2. I just prefer not to. I like playing it half, first, half again. It feels more stable to my hand, but you do you. Let's go from the start of the line now, because I think it's just those last 2 bars that stump people a little. We've got fifth, G sharp, G sharp again, be careful. Slide. Good. Let's put the bowing in this time. Ready, and... I probably should have said, in the second slur, make sure the first finger's on both strings. I'm just hopping my second and third finger over and the first finger's pinned both. And the bow just moves smoothly. It's only on, that's the bow's job, so exciting. Slide. Good. Next line, let's go slowly. Oh, different. And then we start at the beginning again. Sorry, I fell over that D sharp A business in the last bar of the preceding line. Those 2 bars on the end of that line, again, they're the gnarly ones, so let's play them. We've got C and A. Let's take the second finger back to an E sharp. Move up. Cross over. 2 and 4. Cross over. This is where we dump the low one on D. And then we add the second finger for a B. And then we move everybody up. Okay, let's play those 2 bars again. There's just a lot of nasty packed in there. Cross. Low one. Yeah. Once you're confident moving your fingers low to the string and just edging that first finger back and forth, it gets much easier to play. Again, those 2 bars. that C sharp. Again. Thanks, that's the C sharp I wanted. I should probably mark the semitone in my music between the high 3 and the 4 there. Cross. Easy one. Oh, watch out for the G sharp with your second finger on the D and your first finger on the G. And then they both move up. Move the first finger back. Okay, so I don't think there's so much nasty stuff packed into the last 4 lines. It's mostly a recap of the beginning. But that's all the more argument for putting your effort into the beginning and polishing that and feeling great about it before you start the dolce section, which is more tricky, and the recap at the bottom, because if you don't have the start right, you're not going to have the bottom of it right. Just be careful where I fell over, right, on that C sharp. I shouldn't have fallen over there, that was dumb. But I did because I didn't think about the C sharp applying to the G string. That's the great thing about the Polo Studies, because you get these weird notes out of left field. Oh, you've got to be versatile and quick. And if you're not carrying that C sharp in your head, which I wasn't, you miss them and go, oh, that sounds so bad. So I think they're great in that they encourage you to read carefully, to hold accidentals in your head. We don't spend a long time listening to them to prepare us for playing them. We're using our eyes and our logic and our rationale much more when we play these to work out the relationships between the notes and how that translates into the tangible relationships between our fingers. I often say semitone across the strings because that's such an easy idea. Okay, just stamping your fingers down together and feeling them touch just helps you get things exactly in tune instead of kind of in tune, which is what we're going for. So my advice would be leave the bowing out of this when you're working on it. Work in small chunks, mark the phrases for yourself and break it up into sections of about 2 bars each. Because if you can focus your practice narrowly like that, you're establishing fantastic practice habits for more difficult repertoire later on, as well as giving your fingers the repetition they need for fluency. Often our brains have the concept, but our bodies need the repetition to catch up and cement it into muscle memory. And when you do that, then you can play it musically and it will sound really fantastic. So I hope that's of use. Don't forget to get pencil out, mark semitones, mark tones, put fingering in, put a half position for yourself, leave the working out on the page so that every time you go back to it, you've got the infrastructure to play it correctly the first time, rather than having to constantly work stuff out. Good luck!